Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm so glad you could all make it. I'm just gonna jump right into it. So I'm super excited to introduce you guys to our guest speaker tonight. Kacia started coaching in January of 2014 as a side hustle. And in April 2015, she left her corporate job at Google to coach full time. Kacia is a part of the $1 Million Club, Hit Success Club for 6 years. She's a 3 times elite coach, a 10-star coach in her first business center, and a 3-star diamond in her second business center. She's spoken on stage at Summit 3 times, as well as at Beachbody's New Leader Conference and Leadership Conference. Now, Kacia lives in San Diego with her fiance, Sina, and their adorable dog, Lizzie. She is the very proud creator of a top-rated PD podcast, EmpowerHER, which I know there's a lot of fans on here. She is also currently building a new company, She Goes, a global personal development community for women. Kacia still mentors her existing team, although her focus is more on the new company. Her focus is more on her new company and doing what she can to support the Beachbody network while mentoring her existing team. Whew. Talk about a rock star. I'm so excited to pass the mic over to Kacia Fitzgerald.
Allison, what an intro. What's up, you guys? Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Thank you, first and foremost, for having me. I just want to jam and get you guys pumped up and taking action. And I also want to leave time at the end if we can for like Q&A. If you guys have any questions, I'm the most open book of open books. You could literally ask me anything. But Allison did an amazing job kind of giving a high level overview, but I want to pick apart a little bit about how I actually started with Beachbody and find a couple of tangible things that might be helpful for you guys in your business right now. So, I worked in the corporate world when I found Beachbody, and I was actually one of those people that had all of the things on paper that I thought success looked like, right? So maybe some of you that are in the corporate world, that maybe have great jobs that you're excited about. I had a great career trajectory. I had a great income. I had great managers. Like, things were actually really going well for me. The problem is I had this gut feeling that I wanted more fulfillment. So a lot of times I think that we think coaches will, be in a place where their back's against the wall or they feel stuck, and that would make them want to do something like this. For me, I had all the things on paper, but I just had this gut feeling. I was like, I just want to impact people. Like, I just want more fulfillment in my life. Where am I going to get this? Am I crazy? What's wrong with me? Because, we're often a reflection of the expectations of our peer group. And so at the time, I was, in my early 20s, and I was working my way up the corporate ladder, doing what all my friends were doing. And it wasn't until I was overseeing, at the time when I was working in the corporate world, I was a project manager in an IT company. And I was overseeing a team that was partially in Beijing and Chengdu, China, while living in Seattle. So massive time difference. I was in a role where, like Brene Brown would say, I was hustling for my worthiness. As in, I wasn't really qualified to be in the job that I was in. I worked with men that were predominantly 20 years older than me. And for those of you that have mentioned that you listen to my podcast, then I'm like, that's my personality. I'm really weird and goofy. I had to be really buttoned up there. I had to talk to them about like income projections and like their budgets for their project scope of the engineering like work that they were doing. So a little different than what I'm doing now. But when I did stumble upon Beachbody, it was because I was looking for convenient workout programs that I could do at home because my health and fitness goals had got put on the back burner. And I stumbled upon a woman that I was connected to on Instagram who posted quotes, and I knew she was a Beachbody coach because she said she was a Beachbody coach. And when I ordered my P90X, I put her name down as my coach. That's how I got introduced to Beachbody. I didn't even know really what it was. I thought it was like Nordstrom, where when you like put someone's name in, they get commission off of your order. And I was like, oh, she is so cute. She's a stay-at-home mom of 3. Look at her cute, inspiring quotes. And so when she reached out to me and asked me to join one of her groups, I was like, no. Like, I'm not doing your weird like Beachbody. Like, I didn't say it that way because, I'm kind and polite. But I was like, no. But I said, no, thank you so much for asking me. But like, you're a stranger danger. That was in 2014. But here's the thing to take right there straight out the gates. Number 1, don't assume that just because someone has this perfect image on Instagram or Facebook, that they don't want something to give them more fulfillment. Don't think that someone needs to have more income from this. Like, yes, I have generated a tremendous amount of income from this, but that actually wasn't what drove me into this, right? Don't think that someone has to be super passionate about fitness. I literally have cooked like 10 meals in the last year and a half. I don't cook. That's not my thing, right? So be careful about the stories that you're telling yourself about the people that would be interested in this opportunity, and make sure that you're getting intentional of thinking all of the reasons that someone might be excited to be part of this. And if you're looking for something tactical, even going pen to paper and writing out what are all of the reasons that like your coaches that you've already brought on have joined. What was their pain point that this Beachbody either community from a challenge group perspective first, or the coaching opportunity solved for them? Because for me, it was fulfillment. It wasn't that I was looking for, anything other than that. That was really all I was looking for. And so I decided, once I said no to her, I decided that I would do P90X on my own. Has anyone done, like, first screen, raise your hand if you've done P90X. Okay, so yeah, Danielle has like really done P90X. So I have not really done P90X like Danielle has, because I quit on day 4, like 4 weeks in a row. Day 4 is 90 minutes of yoga with cuffed socks. And I don't know, it wasn't my jam. 90 minutes of yoga, I'm really high energy. I don't really like doing anything for 90 minutes. So I quit. But luckily, this random woman that I was connected to, who's now my upline coach, she was so freaking consistent on social media, right? Like, I didn't like her posts. No, because like I had already told her no, right? I was gonna like her posts. I wasn't going to like comment on her post when she said that she had people joining her group, but I watched like a straight creeper, because that's what we do. I would literally type her name into Facebook and Instagram. You guys can say this is creepy, but I know so many of you guys have done it, and I have no shame in my creeping game. I would type her name in and I would just read her post. I'm like, oh, she's great. No, I'm not liking it, because if I like it, she might reach out to me. I don't want her to reach out to me because I already told her no. Okay, so another thing to take there. People are watching. If you're worried of like, oh, this person's not reaching out to me, oh, this person, whatever, don't tell yourself that story. That story is not serving you. There are so many more people that are watching you that need to see you show up consistently, because that builds credibility for them to think that you're qualified to do this, right? And some people that only takes one post, some people that takes, for me, it took 4 weeks, right? It's totally different depending upon the person and where they're at in their life. And we know this fundamentally, but sometimes when we're really excited and we post something, it's like, no one wants to join me. Then you choose this story that's not serving you, and you start to spiral into this black hole and look for all the reasons why you think that you're not going to be successful at this. When in reality, it just takes time. It takes time to build trust with your audience, and it also takes time to build confidence within yourself, right? I've earned probably at this point $1.5 million, something around there with Beachbody over the last 6 years. Amazing. I'm so grateful. Insert income disclaimer. Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success based on, whatever. Okay. Point is, just in case Carl like jumps on this call or something. Point is, if you were to give me the option, Kacia, you can be who you were when you started building your business, or you can be who you are now. You have to give back all your money, right? You can just choose your 24-year-old Kacia or your 30-year-old Kacia, with the confidence that you have, with the human that you are, with the relationships that you have, with the self-awareness that you have, with the foundation of your marriage that you have, with the habits that you have. That's all you get. You don't get any of the money. Would you do it? Would you do the work again? Hell yes, 100 freaking times over. I swear on my life. Because of the person that I became. Yes, all of that other things happened. Yes, I got to speak on all these cool stages, and I learned that I have a passion for public speaking. Yes, all of this happened because of this opportunity, but just the person that I became. Because the first time that I posted on Facebook and decided that I was going to be a coach, after I reached back out to my upline, who was so dang consistent, and I was like, can I be in your challenge group? I already read all about it. I'm not going to lie. What are my options here? She said, you can be a coach or a customer. And I was like, do I get a discount? Okay, sign me up as coach. Once I finally decided that I would build a business, I realized that was the first time that I had really done something that I really did not know what I was doing, and was really freaking scared of what other people thought of me. That was the first time that I had really done something like that. And I've always been really outgoing and done weird things and tried lots of things, but I was really concerned to build a business on social media because I had no experience doing that. And I already had on paper what made sense to a lot of other people. And I was just really concerned of what other people's opinion of me doing something like this would be. But day one, I won. I saw massive success in my business day one, literally because I cried, but I did it anyway, right? And then I remember, like it was yesterday, after I posted on Facebook, for any of you guys that I'm connected with, like on Instagram, you're like, this is so weird to think that she was scared to post because I like twerk with my dog on Instagram stories. I don't even care now. But back then, not really, but kind of. But back then I was so concerned with what people thought about me. So I posted my picture on Facebook. I remember it was like a collage and I was probably looking my Shakeology cup. I used to do that all the time and like put 800 hashtags. I posted that and I was like, I just said I'm a Beachbody coach. And I literally freaked out. And I ran upstairs to my roommates and I was like, please like my picture on Facebook because I'm so scared of what everyone thinks about me. I mean, I was like crazy back then, you guys. And I say crazy because God, I'm grateful for that girl. She was so damn scared, but she did it anyway. And she's gifted me so much growth, so much fulfillment, and so much, like she's created such a massive ripple effect because of her choice to do it scared. And then not just to do it once scared, but to keep going and realize that the fear is not going to go away because every time you elevate, there's another fear, right? Allison mentioned at the beginning that I've spoke at New Leader Conference and Summit. I spoke at Leadership too, which is for 5-star diamond coaches and above. And not noted in that awesome list of accolades was that on the plane ride there, I hadn't written my presentation yet. I had like some slides, but I didn't know what I was gonna say. And I was literally like crying, freaking out. Why? It felt like I was the girl that had just started posting on Facebook again because new level, new fear. So don't have the goal of being fearless as a Beachbody coach. Have the goal of learning how to dance and navigate this fear because it won't go away. But gosh, you're going to be so proud of the version of yourself that you were when you first started, when you navigated this curveball. Now, let's talk about the pandemic, okay? I'll give you a little more of my story, then we'll go into the pandemic because I want to talk about that too. So when I did decide to coach, it was January of 2014. I ran my first challenge group. Like I said, I felt like I won day one just because I did something outside my comfort zone. Then all I did was I decided, okay, I'm going to figure out who I'm most excited to serve with this business opportunity and this coaching opportunity, like being in the challenge group. And I'm just going to talk to her because I was at first talking to kind of everyone. And especially if you're a brand new coach, I think it's really powerful to talk to people that you would be really excited to do a fitness program with in a group, right? Random like college roommates, colleagues, especially right now, like when you can't see people in person, start a group with the people that you would love to hang out with in person and do it in an online community, right? Like it's so cool. But for me, once I realized I wanted to start to figure out who I wanted to serve, I started to get really intentional. I was like, what is the problem that I would be most excited to serve this woman with? For me, it was a woman. For most of us, it's going to be another woman. Like, what would be the problem that I'd be most excited to solve? Well, I definitely want to help her, like, on her health and fitness goals, but that doesn't get me up and like going. Maybe for some of you it does, but for me, I was like, that doesn't get me going. It's like what gets me going and wanting to show up is if she's got the feeling that she's got a gut feeling she wants more and she doesn't know what more is and she needs to build confidence to get more conviction in her life to figure out what she wants to do, I want to help her solve that problem. So all I started to do was get laser focused on solving that problem. And I was like, what is this person? I named her Ashley. And I was like, what is this person like? What is she thinking about? What's the stage of life that she's in? What are the problems that she has? Like, why would she be skeptical of a business like this? Why would she be excited about a business like this? Like, what are the reasons that she would be drawn into this opportunity? And I started to really think about her specifically. And I watched my business go from this like net that I had casted pretty wide to getting pretty intentional. And it was like putting fuel on a fire. And I started in January of 2014. We moved to New York City where my now fiance got into NYU Dental School, and I got my quote unquote dream job at Google working in corporate recruiting, and was building my business before and after work. But because I knew who I wanted to serve so deeply, I felt this like gut feel, like this pull to serve her. I started to not think like, what is she going to think of me? And I started to not think like, ew, am I salesy? Ooh, is this weird? And I started to think, gosh, I'm selfish if she doesn't know about this because I could help her, because I get it, because I was her. And I was like, gosh, I'm not going to rob her of this opportunity. She doesn't have to say yes. I never invited with the intention of the person saying yes. I invited with the intention of planting the seed, right? So that she could then watch me through the lens of someone that had been invited. Let's backtrack for a second here. My upline coach invited me to be in her challenge group when I purchased P90X. She was a stay-at-home mom of 3. I was a corporate hustler who was going to too many happy hours. That was basically my stage of life, okay? I was coping with happy hour. So when she invited me, I was like, oh, I mean, I didn't want to say yes because, stranger danger, and I didn't really get it. But I was like, oh, she thinks I could do this too? Okay, weird. I literally thought in my head, I was like, is this like a stay-at-home mom of 3 thing? Like, I literally did not understand. We think that people know, but they don't know. We have to educate them, and we have to invite them so they can watch your content through the lens of someone that could do it too, because they're watching it from a completely different lens. If she wouldn't have invited me, I would have never reached back out to her, because I would have watched her posting on social media through the lens of, oh, she's looking for other moms to join her, and I'm not a mom. So maybe I can't do this. Okay, whatever. Then I guess I'll just keep quitting P90X and go to happy hour, right? So the point is, I got intentional and I started to disattach from the outcome of the invite and realized that that was where I was planting the seeds so I could start to build connective tissue. Then I started writing all of my content on Instagram and Facebook to that person only, which means I didn't hit home with everyone, which means some people didn't like me. Some people still don't like me. Some people could turn on my podcast and be like, that girl seems like she snorted 4 things of Energize before she recorded her podcast. Some people could think that. Great, you're not my people. Unsubscribe, unfollow. That's totally cool, because I am right for some people, just like you are, right? I have this philosophy that I really am not here to be plain yogurt, because plain yogurt is really boring to me. I want to be the one with the granola and some crazy sprinkles. That's kind of what I'm here for. So actually, my avatar, she vibes with crazy yogurt, right? She does not like plain yogurt either. So I could talk to her and I could be real with her and I could be honest with her, and I started creating content that served her. Then my business really took off because I focused on the basics. I hit Success Club, and when I signed up a coach that wanted to do this business too, I taught them how to hit Success Club. And I taught them how to talk to their person that they were excited to serve. And then rinse and repeat. Every single month I did it again. Every single month I just did it again. It wasn't glamorous. I was never a top recruiter, although my income hit 6 figures just after the year mark, when I started to really get to this opportunity cost situation where I loved my job. I loved working at Google. You guys know, does anyone work at Google that's on this call? You get free almond butter packets when you work there. The Justin's ones, okay? You can make a latte and you get free almond butter packets. It's amazing. And all the other free food. But for some reason I was like, almond butter packets? These are $3. I lived in New York. They were $4 in New York. I'm like, this is amazing. Point is, I got really intentional about her. I was like, I just want to help her. I feel called to help her. And it did feel like I was pushing a monster truck tire up a freaking hill when I was building my business, because I was like, normal doubts like anyone has. Is this going to work out the way that I thought it would? Is this stupid? Is this idea dumb? Am I ever going to feel like I'm getting good at this? All of those feelings, it just felt like it was but I knew that if I stayed consistent, that I would get it, that I would click, that it would start to make more sense, that I would start to get more comfortable. And I knew every single day that I showed up and kept a promise to myself of doing the thing that I said that I was going to do, even though it wasn't massive. Like I said, I was never I've never in my business hit more than Success Club 30, maybe 32, ever. But I did it every single month I showed up. Every single day. I didn't have a massive list. I was working 60 plus hours a week. I had a list of the things that I wanted to get done, and I just tried to keep that promise to myself for that day. Then wipe the slate clean and stack those days of winning, right? That's all I did. And so I was super, super steadfast. I wasn't like a firecracker that just came out of nowhere and just blew this thing up. I was super, super steady. And that built a really sustainable business that now, as Allison mentioned at this point, I built my business with Beachbody for 6 years. I still have my team that I mentor, but as of January, I focus on a new company that I'm building now. And Beachbody gave me the opportunity, mostly from the confidence and of course from the income. Beachbody introduced me to podcasts, which I ended up launching, right? So I want you to think about that. How can I figure out who it is that I'm most excited to serve? How can I figure out how to be consistent so I can be steadfast rather than building your business like you're driving a stick shift car up a hill? Because that is killer, right? Think about it. like up a hill, like in the snow. That's how bad it is, right? If you do that, it takes so much energy. I would so much rather, when you're building your Beachbody business, you find that minimum baseline that you can manage and sustain and then build, right? Same rules apply with habits. I think a lot of times, like, I have a personal development community. A lot of times we talk about habits, and it's like people want to do everything all at once. And I'm like, no. Slow your train, because you're going to burn yourself out. Start with what you can manage and then layer it on from there, because the goal is a long-term to still be here. The goal isn't just to sign up 800 million coaches, burn yourself out, want to take a fork and shove it in your eyeball and then quit. Because not only do I not want you to quit on yourself, but I don't want you to quit on the woman out there who only is going to connect with you because she needs to see someone like you. You as the introvert, you as the mom of 3, you as the person who's doubting yourself, you as the person who's like, nobody likes my Instagram post, like all that crap that we tell ourselves, it's BS, because someone needs to see you do it your way. That's how she's going to feel like she could do it too. So you're not just robbing yourself, but you're robbing her of the opportunity to do this. I am so grateful that my upline coach decided to keep posting her random mom pics and talking about stuff like that, because gosh, she proved to me that she was going to be consistent. I knew that I could reach out to her. I knew she wasn't judging me. Here's the other thing. I knew she wasn't judging me for what I was doing prior, which was going to random fitness classes. She wasn't bashing other ways of life. She was instead explaining the value that she could provide. And if that was something that you were interested in too, she was one message away. I was like, I believe her, right? And I think so often we forget that part of our job as coaches is to educate, right? When I think of social media content, even I think of like educate, entertain, inspire, like those are things that I'm trying to do on my social platforms. But I think about the fact that we've got an opportunity to always educate the people that are the creepers, right? That are creeping on us right now. So if we were to say things like, you know, I had a rough day, give me all the yellows, we would know what that is. Like you would know, oh, homegirl had a rough day and she's eating a lot of carbs. She's shoveling in the pasta, right? But an outsider doesn't know what that is. We don't want to use insider jargon when outsiders are going to feel like outsiders. We want them to feel included. So how can we constantly have this approach of educating through our content, right? So like when you say Beachbody On Demand, what is that? You think everybody knows, and yes, Beachbody does an amazing job of putting out millions of dollars into advertising to make Beachbody products and programs household names. Like they do the work, right? Starting my own company, you have to do that on your own. Like it's very different. Like Beachbody does all the work here, which is amazing. But the point is, we can use every opportunity to understand what the difference is between that insider jargon and that outsider jargon. For example, on a team call like this, let's think about, for me, if I were to think about Ashley, my avatar, she was very worried about what everyone would think about her doing a business like this because she already had a job, right? She had a job and she was a little bit insecure. She was confident internally. She had this gut feeling that she wanted more, but she was still insecure about how to actually act on it, right? So Ashley would be really pumped that 91 people, 91 other women from all across the country or world are on a call learning and growing together. She wouldn't be pumped about team call night, AKA an IG story. And if you did this, don't just take this advice for next time, right? She wouldn't be as pumped if you just took an Instagram story and it said team call night. She doesn't know what that is. What is team call night? Versus grabbing your phone, talking to one, you're just talking to your avatar. I'm so excited that I'm jumping on team call night right now, right? Which if you don't know what that is, it's essentially like a training where a bunch of other coaches that do the same thing as me, we get to learn and grow together. Because I, like you, might be feeling, I was really nervous to start this. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I'm so grateful that I get to connect with these people, right? Or me with my awkward phone here, like taking a picture or a video and explaining what it is, right? Always looking for those opportunities to think like an educator. Let's educate and bridge the gap between you and the person that you're most excited to serve. If you are a mom right now, okay, so let me just take this in a little remix with the pandemic. If you're a mom right now, I know nothing about being a mom because I'm not a mom, okay? And you are a unicorn, and if you birth a human out of your hoo-ha, like, holy crap, okay, that's just a whole nother thing in itself, okay? So cheers to you. But for real, let's start to think about your avatar, the person that you're most excited to serve, and the different pain points that she has now. You are in a pandemic. Maybe she has her significant other home in her space and she's an introvert like you. So I'm an extrovert, if you can't tell. I love hugging people. If I see any of you guys on the street, I'm going to hug you. It's going to be aggressive. I'll probably pee and I'm going to forget that I can't do that right now. I'm sorry. Okay. Grandmas in the grocery store, can't wait to hug them. Gonna hug a lot of them in like 6 months. Okay. Point is, if you're an introvert and your avatar is an introvert, she is like, get everybody out of my space. I need alone time. I want to murder my baby humans. Like, not murder them, but like, they're in my space, right? That's what she's thinking. So when you're selling your challenge group, you sell it to that lens. Mom, you're a mom like me, you get it. We love our humans, but like, they're all in my space. Like, imagine if you're actually talking to her and her exact pain point right now. So your accountability group, it's not just to get her good results while she's at home. Maybe she was more worried about that before. Right now, she literally needs to manage her anxiety because she is going to like just jump out the window, right? She's just like over it right now. She might be feeling that way. So what's the pain point that you can solve right now during this season? Because it matters so much that you figure out the pain point that you're solving of that person, right? Okay. That's one thing during the pandemic. Start to think about your new, the new pain point that you're solving. The other thing to think about that I think a lot of coaches are missing a huge opportunity with is the story that you're telling yourself about this season. Are you telling yourself, first of all, are you watching a ton of news and putting yourself into a negative head state all the time? That's not going to serve you. Is that the first? Okay, girl, okay, if I could give you one gift of anything, like, because I like to think of us like we're friends. If you listen to the podcast, I say that all the time. I'm like we're girlfriends chatting, having coffee. Please don't consume social media content as the first thing that you're doing. Please, extra please, like that's one thing, but extra please, do not go on CNN and read about the virus and like death. First thing in the morning, you're literally training your brain. You're rewarding your brain this instant gratification of like pain. That's not a good look on anyone, right? So if you could just do one thing, if you're like, I don't even know who this Kacia girl was, like she was talking about all this random stuff. If the only thing you take is just to stop the scroll in the AM, that's going to improve your life, right? And that will in turn improve your business. Point is, we've got to make sure that we're telling ourselves stories right now that are serving us. Because as humans, we get to create meaning, right? Like you guys have heard this before. This is PD 101, that events are neutral, we create the meaning. That doesn't mean that you're ignorant to the fact that this is tough right now, that you are navigating a new norm that is so different. Everybody's affected, right? A lot of people have lost their jobs. I mean, there is so much tragedy happening right now. Here's the thing. Are you telling yourself the story that everybody lost their job, that nobody can buy a challenge pack, that nobody's going to want to join a business right now because it's a pandemic? Nobody's going to want to do this. Are you telling yourself that? Because that story is not serving you, and that's not also serving the person out there that wants to do this too, right? It's so, so important that as coaches, as women, as entrepreneurial, like spirited people, that we are challenging the thoughts that we're thinking, which drive our behaviors and our actions. So during this pandemic, what's the problem you're most excited to serve for your person that you're most excited to help? And number two, what's the story that you're telling yourself about this season? Because it needs to be something that's serving you. There are plenty of people whose life looks like this. Used to go to a corporate job, now I'm at home, never go out because I'm not allowed to, actually have more money than I did 6 months ago. There are a lot of people that have that story, right? There are a lot of people that are, do you guys like Enneagram? Anyone? Any Enneagram 2s in the house? Okay, drop in the chat if you're an Enneagram 2. If you're a 7, then we're like squirrel twins. If you're a 7, drop in the chat too. Point is, Enneagram 2s, if you don't know Enneagram, Google it. It's a personality test. I'm literally obsessed with it. But Enneagram 2s are the helpers, which means they get a lot of joy and fulfillment from helping other people, especially if any of you guys are teachers. Teachers are the helpers. So it's extremely important that we identify that the people that want to help feel very trapped right now if they don't feel like they can help. How can you help as a Beachbody coach? Well, you can be a coach and you can help other people. You can be in a challenge group and you can support other people. Literally, that's robbing fulfillment and joy from people like Enneagram 2s, right? Just using them as an example, that are helpers, that feel like they can't help. And that's where they get joy and fulfillment. So let's make sure that we're telling ourselves stories about right now that's actually serving us and really getting intentional about this season. I just think there's no reason that you're here as a coach unless you're also gifted the ability to figure this out, right? Like, I just don't think that, I just believe to my core that you're not given a dream or a vision or an idea on your heart if you're not gifted the ability to figure this out. I don't know what your story with Beachbody will be. I don't know if you will be here and you and I and Shanti and like some of our friends here are going to be like twerking in a wheelchair when we're like 120. Great. I'll be doing that too. And Shanti is going to be like, I don't know, like 160. I have no idea. Point is, I don't know what your story with Beachbody is, but I do know that if you're here right now, why not make it count? That doesn't mean that you have to build a full-time income with Beachbody. That doesn't mean you have to be a blah, blah diamond. That doesn't mean any of that. What it means is if you're here, why not set a goal? Because as humans, we love progress. Fulfillment comes from progress. Know what you're working towards. Because what I've learned, and I really didn't expect to learn, is how transferable these skills are in every aspect of your life that you're learning as a Beachbody coach. I didn't anticipate that I would want to launch another company. The girl that I was that was like crying when she posted on Facebook, she would have never launched a podcast, guys. Like, she would probably poop her pants before she would launch a podcast. Like, no way. I would have been way too scared. But the skills that I learned by inviting and hearing no's, by posting on social media and being like, no one likes my picture, and like dealing with all that crappy, stupid doubt that we do, right? That built her. That built the woman that could launch the podcast that I'm grateful that some of you guys in the chat are saying that you vibe with. Like, thank God that I posted those awkward pictures of me like licking my shaker cup, right? And just trying to figure it out. The difference between where you are now and where you want to go is going to be completely dependent on what you're labeling this space right now, what you're labeling this season, and what you're labeling, hi, I'm an Emerald coach and I want to be a 2-star diamond coach. Are you labeling that space overwhelming, daunting, scary? Are you looking at other people that have gotten to 2-star diamond and you're saying that she has something that you don't? Or are you labeling that space as growth opportunity, as fulfillment opportunity? Because progress, right? How are you labeling that space? Because we got to make sure it's serving you. Because the person that you're going to become, you can't here's the thing. You cannot handle the dream that you want yet, right? Like, and I think sometimes we want, and like, drop in the chat if you connect with this. I sometimes want all of my big dreams literally Amazon Prime to me. I'm like, okay, like, so I want to do all these things. So can you just like give them to me yesterday? Because I feel like I've been showing up. I feel like I'm a great person. Like, just, just give me some of those dreams. And then I realized, for example, I'll give you one real time. The personal development community that I'm creating. We have just shy of 750 members in the community. I want it to be the most massive personal growth community of women that some are entrepreneurs, like obviously some are coaches, some are podcasters, bloggers, just women all across the globe. And I want there to be like 5,000 of us in there by the end of the year. If I woke up tomorrow and there was 5,000 women in there, I would freak out because I literally do not have the team to handle that yet. But I'll learn along the way how to handle that. I can't handle that yet. I want that then, right? Like, I want that later because I literally am not the person that can handle it yet. I don't have the confidence. I haven't done this long enough to get my reps in. I don't have the infrastructure for it. So while you're wishing that you were somewhere else, let's be grateful for where we are now and just start to make those small steps in the right direction. Start to celebrate those small wins along the way, because that's what's gonna make it where when you get there, like for example, for this example, when I get to 5,000 and I look back, I'm like, yeah, that was worth it. I could do that again. I didn't jeopardize my health. I didn't jeopardize my relationships. I didn't burn myself out. I want you to get to all of your goals in Beachbody and in your life, but I want you to look back on the path that you took to get there and think that it was worth it, because when you get to that next goal, you're going to set another one because of all of the confidence that you have in yourself, because of all of the messages that you got from people that said, because of you, my life's changed, because you invited me, my life is different, my family's different, my marriage is, you didn't know this, Leah, Jillian, Vicky, Sarah, you didn't know this, but when you invited me to your challenge group, my marriage was hanging on by a thread. But because I got more confidence, I started to pour more into my marriage, and now my kids aren't going back and forth every other weekend, and I credit you for that. I've gotten that message. And I cried, and I sat on the floor and just cried. And I was like, gosh, I'm proud of me now, but I'm proud of her. The girl that started and had no idea what the heck she was doing, right? And I'm proud of every version along the way. And I just hope that in the midst of a global pandemic, in the midst of all these goals that you have for yourself, that you take a second and just feel proud. Just feel proud of how you're handling it today, right? Because we are navigating something that is so never happened before and will hopefully never happen again in our lifetimes. And that means that winning your Wednesday is gonna look different than winning your Thursday. Some days you're gonna have a massive to-do list and you're not gonna get to it all. So you get the choice. You throw in the towel and you say, I knew I wasn't cut out for this. Why did I think I could build a Beachbody business and have a corporate job and have like 14 kids? Why did I think I could do it all? Well, you can, but not if you're beating yourself up every single day that it doesn't go according to plan. The goal is to have the plan and know that you won't always hit the plan, but you're gonna get closer if you have the plan than if you don't, right? So give yourself some grace. And this Pinterest quote that circulates everywhere is fill your cup and pour from the overflow. No, right now, fill your cup to excess. So like literally you would have to like Zamboni from the overflow because there's so much overflow. Does anyone know what a Zamboni is? I just did a college like reference. I don't even know. When I used to like, you like suck the beer off the counter. It's so gross. I don't know where that came from. Point is, I want you to really take care of yourself. I want you to really understand that you don't work for Beachbody. You work for yourself, right? Beachbody is who you partner with, and they come up with amazing tools and products and programs and this opportunity that you get to have as a tool in your toolbox that you can serve people with, okay? It's so, so important now and always that you make yourself a priority. That is the reason that I was able to be so consistent in my business and I didn't feel like I worked my butt off. I will make that crystal clear. I worked really freaking hard, but I didn't burn out. I did want to throw in the towel when I doubted myself, but I never would have because I was so connected to that macro vision of that Ashley that I wanted to help and how I could impact her and how this could help me become a better human. And then I was dancing the dance between that macro focus of that vision of where I'm going and that micro, how do I win today? And I just danced in between that. And I got really dang good at dancing that dance. And from that came a lot of awesome opportunities within Beachbody that I'm so grateful for, that have led me into other things that I'm grateful for too. And I hope you take a second to feel proud. I hope that you recognize that within all these Beachbody goals, you can have a human goal. And the human goal matters more, right? Have a goal that you're working towards, because if you don't know where you're going, you're gonna feel like you're floundering. And then you're just gonna sabotage down into this dark spiral. And then you might throw in the towel when you had a lot of potential, when you had a lot of people that were counting on you. And you didn't know because you're like, they didn't like my picture. I didn't like my upline picture. I was not liking a picture, you guys. No. I was creeping. All those creepers out there that are counting on you, okay? So keep on going. You're gonna wanna give up. But future you, think of future you. Trust me, I'll tell you, 6 years in, me is so damn glad that I didn't give up, even when I wanted to. And you will have a 6-month, I have a 5-month ago version of me that I'm proud of that didn't give up, okay? Yes, Danielle said in the chat, she didn't like a pic until the day that she signed up, and then she blew up the business. Love that. Okay, do you guys have any questions? I wanna make sure that I answer like anything that if you're like, I wanna know about inbounding, I wanna know about this, anything.
Okay. I have a question that's like kind of outside of the box, but I feel like I'm in the same position you were. I work for SurveyMonkey, which is a tech company, climbing the corporate ladder, successful there at 23, but it's dancing that dance between my team's in 5-star qualification. So just kind of like, how did you balance that of like your love is for Beachbody and coaching and building and pouring into your team, but still having to stick around at that corporate job for now?
Oh my gosh, girl. One thing that I don't love is when people think just like, so I interviewed a woman on my podcast named Kelly Roach. She built $1 million side hustle. And I was like, damn, this girl is smart. What, like, I get where you're feeling of like, I just want to leave. Like, I just want to leave the corporate world. I just want to do this. But I got to the point where it was literally opportunity cost. It was like, I physically can't do it anymore. And my business had surpassed my income. And then I made the choice. There's a lot of people in the entrepreneurial space, and even in the Beachbody space that are like, jump and the net will appear. Like, no. Like, build the infrastructure so you're stable. I mean, I will encourage you to jump. I'm an Enneagram 7, like do the weird thing, jump. But why do you have to have one or the other? why not figure out a way? Like, I would have stayed longer at Google, making more income that I made with Beachbody than I did at Google, except for the fact that it was like I ran out of time because my team was growing so fast. Like, we went from like, I was the only diamond to like 9-star qualifying with multiple like layers, like 1 star is underneath me, 2 stars underneath. It was like, it just like boomed. And I was like, oh no, what do I do now? And I couldn't handle it in terms of bandwidth of time. So I hear you, you're totally heard. And I understand the feeling because I've been there before of like, oh, should I leave? Should I not? But like, why not stay and get so dang good? Because I actually feel like, get dang good at having it as a side hustle. Because I think there are a ton of women that are probably in your demographic that have really like amazing jobs on paper that are very interested in the side hustle that you can attract more if you have a side hustle. Versus a lot of times we glamorize this idea of when I'm a full-time coach, then I'm gonna attract even more people. But think about your avatar. For me, I would have been skeptical of a full-time income with Beachbody because I was in the corporate world and I loved my job. And I thought I was doing the right thing for me, right? So I think if I were you, I would think, how can I make this work longer that I have a full-time job and just start banking your Beachbody income, pouring into your team, and just attract all the side hustlers who feel the same way that you do. And when you get to the point where you're like, I literally can't manage it anymore, then put your notice in. That's what I would do personally. And I think that my dad was pretty excited. My dad was the commander of the Seattle SWAT team. He was very excited about this very unusual, logical version of me that came up with that game plan. When I was like, I'm quitting my job, he was like, hold on, you're supporting 2 people that live in downtown New York City, because my fiance was in dental school. Do you have insurance? Like, like doing the dad things. So I'm gonna give you my dad's advice. Hopefully that's helpful. Oh, good, thank you guys. Okay, other question. I didn't even click to other side. Just unmute yourself. Dun, dun, dun. Does nobody have any questions? Everyone's crushing it. They feel so great. My business is exploding. I don't even know I'm here. I just have 800 million coaches.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What did you were talking about having like kind of like your day-to-day list and then kind of building like your successes off of that. Like, what does your day-to-day list look like? Do you know what I mean? Like when you were starting.
Yeah. So are you working like a full-time job and building full-time?
Yeah. Like I have a full-time job, a part-time job, and 2 online businesses right now. So kind of figuring out what to do day-to-day now in Beachbody is kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. So I think it's complete. There's 2 ways that I always mentor like coaches to go. One is, for me, I really needed the confidence. So I had to find little things that I could do consistently that were going to move the needle forward. The actual business building activities, like IPAs, the income producing activities, which means like your invites, your follow-ups, and then maintaining your relationships with your existing people that are already in your ecosystem, whether that's challengers, coaches, whatever. All of the extra business related stuff comes after the things that are actually going to move the needle forward, right? So for me, it was always in the morning, I would do invites. I had a timer on my phone. Now I have a time cube from Amazon because, I got fancy and it was $14. I was like, what's that? So I have a time cube, but you can use a timer on your phone. And what I would do is when I drank my Energize, well, back then it was easy, but when I drank my pre-workout, I would set a timer on my phone. And during that time while my Energize kicked in, I did things that were going to move the needle forward. I did invites and follow-ups first, as much as like that was what I was focused on first thing in the morning, because I knew that I could stack it on an existing habit. So for you, anyone listening to this, if you do drink, I'm sure all of us drink Energize. It's literally like just the best thing ever. So if you drink Energize, you know that you probably want to wait like 15 minutes before you start your workout, because then you're like, what's up in the middle of your workout? What are you doing in that 15 minutes? Because for me, I was inviting in that 15 minutes, and it was only 15 minutes. It wasn't massive, but I was inviting during that time. And it was so impactful because it compounds those tiny little things that are easy to do, also easy not to do. So Holly, I would either, two ways you could go. Either look for the cracks in your day that you can start to attach business building activities to existing habits, that you can kind of stack them on each other. Or if you are more so like, it sounds like you've got multiple businesses, you have 2 online businesses, you have a part-time job, you have a full-time job. So I would look at your week as a whole, and maybe you bulk your Beachbody on one day, you bulk your other online business on another day, and you proactively create even content, like your pre-write Instagram posts. Take some pictures that you have in your phone that you can use like to post things. Make your list of all the people that you're gonna invite and massive do those invites on one day, or break it up into a couple of days and maybe not be as consistent of doing it daily. But then figure out what are your non-negotiables that you're gonna share daily, like your workout. Because remember, people have to see the consistency because that builds trust. They have to know you, as in they have to be connected to you. They have to know that you have something that they can join. Then they have to like you, which a lot of people won't, because a lot of people don't like me either. That's totally cool. They'll like you or they won't. You can't control that. And then trust. Know, like, trust. That's what we're going for here. Trust takes consistency over time, right? And some people that time is short. Some people that time is long. So I would figure out, how can I build in the basics to my daily life, right? Especially like if you're doing workouts daily and that's already a habit, I would stack something right after that. Like, or right before that, like 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after, because it's already an existing habit that's going to help you show up. And then I would look at your schedule and think, do I like the idea of having Beachbody on one day where I focus a lot on figuring out who I want to connect with, building up my network, figuring out what my follow-ups are, and then focusing on my other businesses, or do I like it daily? Personally, I liked it daily because I needed that confidence hit from doing it consistently. And I felt like that was easier than committing to a big chunk of time. But then like my best friend who is has had a really successful business, that was my first coach on the team, she like builds it in chunks. She builds it in like 3 days. She's like heavy on it. And then she kind of like doesn't do anything for a couple of days. And that works for her too. So, oh, Julie from her mom. I love your advice. I didn't read that comment. That's so good. Okay. Julie, yay, high five. Okay. That's amazing. All right, who else? Do we have another one? Something juicy or awkward. Give me a juicy or awkward one.
I have a question for you. So I've always had this dream to start a podcast, always, before even Beachbody was in the picture. What is your advice for someone who's thinking of starting that?
I love this. I think podcasting is an incredible platform. Never get screwed up with an algorithm. And it's super intimate, right? Like people listen to you while they're like naked in the shower, which is so crazy. And then I get DMs. Maybe some of you have DM'd me that. They're like, I listen to you in the shower. I'm like, this is so crazy. I mean, I have an actual like course around podcasting, but you can DM me and I can give you like specific advice. If you have like a topic area you're focusing on, DM me on Instagram and I'll help you. Because I feel like there might not be, maybe there are some people on this, but yeah, DM me and I'll fill you in. You can chat. But basically, my big takeaway advice that would be applicable to everyone, if you don't want to start a podcast, is just like, you're going to need to start and you're going to suck at first and then you're going to get better. Because that's just everything, right? Like I had a woman that just recently listened to like my first episode and she was like, it was so inspiring to me because you weren't really good and your voice was really shaky and awkward and your voice was cracking. And I was like, yes, it was, because I started when I was about to pee my pants and I was scared, but I did it anyway, right? Awesome. Oh, yay, Tara. Oh, Tara McDonald has a podcast too, if you didn't know. Hi, Tara, fellow podcaster. Okay, anyone else?
I have a quick question. So I am that mom of 3. So I guess my biggest thing is I am super passionate. I've done a lot of different direct sales, and what I've come to find out is it's that community and connection that I've sought through all of them. Yep. And this time it's the first time I've poured into myself with one of them. And as a mom, you kind of put yourself on a back burner. So I've just been doing this for 2 months, but I've grown so much. Yeah. But my biggest thing is, because I am such a like let's do this go-getter, I don't want to burn myself out. Yep. So I guess finding that happy medium of like not doing anything versus like giving too much and then you burn yourself out. And yeah, so just finding that balance.
So I have two things that came to mind when you said your story. One is if anyone on this call has done other direct marketing businesses, and you've switched around to other ones, that's not bad, but I think you need to own it, because there are going to be some people that are going to be skeptical of why you've swapped, right? And like, let's just call it out. I think anything, like the more honest you can be, the better. If anyone on this call has done Beachbody in the past and then you quit and now you're back, you can be super successful, but you need to own why it's different now for yourself, so you can feel confident, but also so your target market will believe you more, that you're going to still be here in 6 months and you're not going to switch to something else. So I love it. Based off of your vicious head nod, I'm guessing that you're already doing this, but for anyone else that needed to hear that, just own it. I feel like that helps. Second thing, I don't think you're going to know what your breaking point is until you kind of teeter that line. So being super, super self-aware, because it's completely different for everyone. But an activity that's helpful, if you guys have read Atomic Habits by James Clear, he has an activity called the failure premortem. And this is essentially where you write the story of how you failed, and in your case, how you burned out, and you write it 6 months ahead of time, right? Write the story out like as if you're telling the story. Tiffany was so excited about, like, that was my narrator voice. Tiffany was so excited about Beachbody, and she finally felt like she really got the community she wanted. And then she burned out. This is how it happened. And see if you can predict. So then we have a proactive roadmap that we can start to pick the parts that we could be aware of. Maybe it is having a conversation with a significant other or with anyone that's close to you of like, these are the signs to note for, because I don't want to burn out. I want this to be different. Maybe it is getting accountability from other people. The fact that you're even acknowledging that you're afraid of it, I think is really huge. The fact that Danielle is like probably going to break her neck because she's nodding so much that she is ready to support you is telling me that you have really awesome support. So I think because you're aware, it won't be as big of a problem as you think, but you're going to have to be really conscious of when you're teetering that line. So I would actually, instead of thinking like turning the light switch on, like it's awesome that you're crushing it 2 months in, but for long-term sustainable success, I would think more of how you're building like a dimmer switch, right? Like versus like, oh, let's go, or like a water house, right? Because sometimes that's the recipe for burnout. So anyone right now that's like feeling this gut feeling that they want to like step it up a little bit, think of your business like a dimmer switch, for real. Just like crank it up a little bit. Don't flip all the lights on in the house when it was dark, because that is just really overwhelming for you, and it's overwhelming for people on social media that are following you, because all of a sudden you weren't posting and now you're 800 million times a day. And not in terms of what do they think, but more in terms of like, let them catch on to the story. And that doesn't apply to you, Tiffany, but to anyone else hearing that. I think that's really helpful, and that's helped me stay consistent. Sometimes it dims down a little bit if I'm feeling the feels, but it's always this minimum baseline that I keep the lights on.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
and I look forward to listening to your podcast.
Yay! You'll have to let me know what you think.
I'm like super high energy and passionate. And the other night I was asked a question on one of the calls, and Danielle was like, you have 3 minutes. I'm like, 3 minutes? That's it? Like, I think I was like 10 minutes.
I love it. So good. All right. Any last minute questions?
I have a question.
Hi, Shauna.
Do you put your girls in pods when they like rank advance and stuff? Like, we currently have pods going, but I wasn't sure if there is another like way that you did it.
I think that is a really powerful way to build this business, because anytime that you can cultivate smaller sub communities where they can rely on each other, I think that's super powerful, rather than just having a relationship with you as the upline. So 100%, I would put like an exclamation point on doing a pod, or like any type of like small group with common interests, especially if they're at the same stage of life, right? Like a new mom with like infants, like that would be really helpful for her to be able to like just feel that overwhelmed feeling with another person that gets it, and then share what's working. The only catch on this is I've had experience when we were pushing for 15 star. We had one group of women that were in a pod together, and like 3 of them were like really not in a good headspace, and they brought the whole group down. So I was so intentional about being aware of that I had to pull them out and be like, hey, when you're struggling, don't look for the person that's also struggling to just sit and talk crap. How does that serve you? Look for the person that's killing it and ask, what are the thoughts that she's thinking? What are the habits that she has? What are the things that she's doing? How can I learn from her? How can I model her, but do it my way? So yes, 100%, I think that's an amazing idea, but just be aware of the dynamics in the state, like have a good pulse on them if you have a lot of them, or a pulse on the personality types and the current states of their head too. And if you see someone that's like crushing it, that's in the pod, make sure that you're like elevating them however you can. Like, hey, you're crushing it. Can you go live in here if it's a Facebook group or whatever and share this? Or like when they're telling you their wins individually, get them to share it with the pod of like how they got to that win so that they can educate each other and build camaraderie and feel like they're stepping up as leaders. That has been super helpful for me. That's even honestly, full transparency, why even though I mentor my existing team, why our team has not dipped a ton from me kind of making this pivot is because I've got such strong layers of leadership that they all know, they don't, like, I'm not that cool. Like, they don't think I'm that cool. They just do their own thing, you know? Good question. I like that. All right. Any last question? That feels like that's right, Allison. I think it should be you because you started it.
What, like, if you had like one piece of advice to, I'm going to say, a new coach on this call right now, what would you tell them?
It would be so strange if you didn't feel like an imposter. A lot of times we are like, oh, like, am I qualified? Can I do this? When have you ever done something for the first time and crushed it? Like, to me, I think that if you're nervous or you're scared or you're like wondering, like, can I do this? Am I cut out for this? It's because you care. Like, awesome. You found something that you care about. Like, the alternative is quit and then not have something that you cared about. Like, you care about this. So I would encourage the new coach to understand that, of course, you're going to feel like you don't know what you're doing, because like, I honestly don't understand. It's funny when coaches come in and they're like, I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, when you go to your job, like, especially for those of you that work in the corporate world, you don't sit down at your desk. So they're like, hey, you're a new hire, sit down, go ahead, go crush your job. No, they like give you your stapler and your computer logins, and you go through like a training in most corporate jobs, and you take 40 hours to like learn what it is, and then you give yourself grace because you got to learn who like Ted in HR is and like who this other random person is. You got to learn it. But we sign up as coaches where we're entrepreneurs and we're our own business, and we have the expectations that we're going to know exactly how to do this. We're not going to have to stumble. So number one, you're gonna feel like you suck at first, but that's just part of it. And you're gonna have to just work through it, and future you is gonna be really grateful for the person you become in pursuit of it. Number two, please, please, please don't just be here for a year. That advice was said on my team call once by a leader that I love and respect in the network. And I was like, I don't like to interrupt people, but no, not just be here in a year. I was like, I love you and I love where your head's at, but like be here and do the work for a year. Like actually show up and commit to giving it a go, because I don't want you to have a regret of I wonder what would have happened if. If you're gonna be here, why not be here and actually just show up and do it and get that full experience that you're like, you can say if it wasn't right for you, totally fine. There's amazing people that Beachbody's not right for, but some of you it is totally right for, but you're doing this like thing where you're like you like put one toe and you're like, oh, I don't know, and you do it again. And if you do that too many times, you're going to quit because you're going to think that you're not capable, because someone that started around the same time as you is going to decide that they're just going to cannonball and they're going to kind of suck at first, but they're going to keep on going. And then you're going to compare yourself, because as humans, that's what we do. Right. So I don't want that for you. So it's going to be hard at first because it's very unfamiliar, just like anything that you're starting, but you're going to get better and it's going to be awesome. And you're going to inspire people along the way. And there are so many creepers out there like me that are watching you. This would be the time that I'm like, by the way, I have cameras in your house. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I love the new coach excitement, and label that feeling in your body as excitement, not fear, because excitement serves you, right? So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The chat is blowing up. I'm getting messages like, thank you. This was absolutely amazing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to hang out with us tonight and just pour your love and fire into our souls.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh. That was incredible. Allison, big freaking shout out to Allison for totally stepping in her comfort zone and messaging Kacia and asking her to be on our team call. Amazing. Allison, thank you so much for making this happen for all of us on the team. I messaged her tonight. The strength of this team is because of the leaders we have on this team. The amount of leaders with heart and hustle who all step out of their way without being asked to do exceptional things. So thank you so much. With that, we're going to go here with some recognition. So please stay on if you guys want to hear our recognition. I know we have, bring up that mother. Somebody else talk.
Are we doing recognition? Okay. Okay. Shout out to Kira, who is Diamond tomorrow. I also heard there's a few other people who are Diamond tomorrow. I won't do that recognition. I think that's somebody else's call, but I know a lot of people are still pushing for Diamond tonight. So that's really exciting. Good luck, ladies. Also, shout out to a lot of my girls who are getting their emerald back tomorrow. They've been really pushing for that. So I believe that was Vicky. Congratulations to you. Taylor, Amber, you guys rocked it. So good job, ladies.
Awesome. I just want to do a huge shout out to Liz. She just signed up on Thursday and she's here on her first call, like hasn't even been a coach for a week and is already jumping in. So I'm so glad you're here with us tonight, Liz.
I just wanted to shout out Emily. She's on her first coach call tonight too. Decided to start coaching just yesterday.
I want to shout out Sammy, who is on her first coach call tonight and just joined to be a coach last night.
I want to pop in and call out Danielle Bedard. She has only been a coach for, I think, 4 days, and she just hit Emerald yesterday. So way to go, girl. I'm so proud of you.
I have a few recognition. Can you guys hear me? I had to hop on my laptop here, or sorry, my tablet. First of all, I want to say, I don't know what you guys heard from before, but thank you, Allison. Did you guys hear all that business? Okay. All that business. I want to say like a huge welcome. We have Tasha, Lisa, and Jen and Jessica. Lisa and Tasha are like getting ready to sign up as coaches, and they hopped on this call tonight. So excited. Jen and Jessica are brand new stinking coaches, brand new spanking shiny coaches, and they're on here tonight. This is their first team call as well. So I want to do a huge shout out to them. Also, I want to do a shout out to Amanda Confiant and Tiffany. Amanda's not on this call, I don't think. I didn't see her, but they just like crushed their business this week, added so many coaches to their network, and are fire together, as well as Jennifer Bourgeois, who's very first month in her coaching business and is ending her month with Success Club 10 tomorrow. So I want to give a huge shout out to all those girls. And I think we've got some major diamonds popping tomorrow. Do we have?
I want to shout out Ashley Craig. I know there's a few Ashleys. Oh, my phone's going off. It's her first month coaching, and she is Success Starter month 1. She's showing up on her stories. She's already such a big inspiration, and I am just so proud of her, and I can just see her excelling so far. So good job. Keep it up. I'm so proud of you.
I also have a few shout outs. Cassidy, I know she was on here. I don't know if she still is. She's been coaching for maybe 2 weeks. Success Club 10, Emerald 2 times tomorrow. So 2 times Emerald in a week. Month 1 Success Starter, obviously. I have Sarah Nolasco, who's a month 1 Success Starter this month. Megan Califf, who's a month 2 Success Starter. Brianna Watt, who's a month 2 Success Starter. I think I have everybody, but big shout outs there.
I want to shout out Kayla, who will be Emerald tomorrow, which is awesome.
I actually wanted to shout out Emma because I'm like so excited for this to happen for you. I messaged you earlier, but I want you to share. But anyways, Emma has something big happening because she hit Success Starter I'm very, very excited to like watch her journey as she goes through it. But definitely follow her for the months to come because she has some big stuff happening with the company, and I'm very proud of you.
I want to shout out both Lauren and Cassidy. They started actively working the business this month, and they are both rank advancing to Emerald tomorrow. I'm so proud of both of you.
I don't know if Christina's still on this call. I saw her here for a second, but I don't think she is. But guys, Heidi Cameron. Heidi, friggin' look up, girlfriend. You. Yeah. No sleep. Baby on her hip. Under 2 months. Well, how old? No, 2 months and no, 2 weeks. 2 months. Yeah. Because I follow her because I love that child. Hitting diamond tomorrow. Can we just give a friggin' shout out? Like, she's like, I'm surviving on no sleep, energized, single mom of a 2-month-old, and she's making it happen. She said, I'm not going to bed until it's happening.
I'm one away. I'm not going to bed. Someone's interested. They just need to message me back. Just talk
right?
to me.
Right? One away. She's making it happen. She's making it happen. I love that. That's freaking tenacity. There's a difference between tenacity and talent. Tenacity wins every time.
I want to give a shout out to my 2 brand new coaches that signed up on Monday, and they're both on the call tonight, Jolene and Barbie, and they've both hit the ground running.
Shout out to Jillian, who signed up her first working coach today. So excited.
I love that. So exciting. Guys, and can we like just celebrate the fact that this month was record breaking for the company, record breaking for our team. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to let you guys know that we're not stopping. Biggest month yet. Absolutely. Absolutely. Biggest month yet. I can't remember what Val told me, Val Forrest, when I made the Success Club board up last month. I think she told me, I think she calculated it to over 500, almost 550 lives changed just because of the impact of this team in April. 550 lives changed. And that's not including ours. That's not including ours. And that's not including the kids in the household that are watching their moms exercise. And the husbands who are eating vegetables for the first time in their life. And, you know, maybe that's helping their cholesterol. And the fact that that's helping people's mental health through this pandemic. And that they feel purpose and that they feel healthy and that they look forward to at least 30 minutes a day that they have for themselves to pour into their health mentally and physically. Okay, so that's just the one life, not the people around them that is being affected. So I mean, that is massive. You want to talk about impact and legacy and movement? That is friggin' massive. So when people ask you what you did in the pandemic, you can be like, I friggin' gave people hope, light, and changed their lives, including my own, right? Like really and freaking truly. I'm not gonna cry. Okay, so Shelby and Sheldon and I we're talking before this call, and we have a couple of things going on that we want to set you guys up for, just to give you a heads up for this weekend. We are going to be having, I think we settled at 6:30 Eastern Friday PM, 7:30 p.m. Atlantic time. Friday, we're having a team-wide cocktail hour Friday. Mark it down. Pick up your pens, pick up your phones. 6:30 Eastern, 7:30 Atlantic. We are having a cocktail hour right here, okay? We are celebrating this month together. We're going to be doing shout outs, a few different things, and just really talking about goals going forward into May and just hanging out with each other, okay? It won't be recorded, so show up, okay? And Diamond Babes, you know who you are from the Diamond crew. we'll be posting in the diamond training, but we're going to be doing, just so that you can plan around it, we are going to be doing a diamond dash to kind of cap it off and go forward, a diamond brunch virtually on Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Atlantic, Sunday. Okay, so put those in your calendars, guys. Of course, new coach mentorship starts for Inspire Tribe Sunday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Atlantic. Oh my gosh, that's enough thinking for me for the day. Can you tell my brain just went, Thank you guys so much. Shelby and Shauna, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, just one more thing. Tomorrow, I would love everyone to show up on the Team Empower link to do like a shot for everyone's, not a real, like an energized shot in the morning. I think we'll do like 8 a.m. Eastern for everyone rank advancing tomorrow to celebrate. So
love it. Love it. Do you want to post that link again you had this cute little post. You could even find it and just pin it to the announcements probably.
Yeah, I'll just post it again.
Yeah, cool. Even me, that's half of it's my biggest struggle in the morning is trying to figure out which link I'm supposed to be clicking on. Again, Allison, thank you so much for putting this together. And guys, cheers. We will see you guys all here next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. But before then, we'll see you on Friday night for happy hour. Okay, team, happy hour. Cheers, guys.